just on top of Robert Covington, who came in at number 12, here at number 11, we have a player who we thought was going to start with one team and then another team, and now he's over in Golden State. Kelly Oubre Jr., Klay Thompson injury brought in Kelly Oubre Jr., cost Golden State a whole lot of money. But yeah, I didn't think he was going to be this high on the list. I actually had him a little bit lower. I looked at him his stats. I looked at his year overview. I looked at Phoenix overall, and then I thought to myself at the end, wow, I have to put him higher because I didn't know how overshadowed and undervalued he was in Phoenix. I just look at how successful they were in the bubble after he got hurt, and I was, maybe they didn't really need him to get there. No, he was a major part of that team. He grew up a lot in the last couple of years compared to the player he was. He might not be a star player in Golden State, but he is a damn good replacement.
Yeah, and I think you hit it on the nail with the big improvement that he's made over the last few years, where even when he kind of had that third year where he hit a bit of a stride in terms of finally getting into double-digit points, he really still felt like a guy who, when Washington had Otto Porter and they also had Kelly Oubre, where it was like you have the same player. Like neither of them are that good, neither of them are bad, but neither of them are that good. And like you said,
Oubre's gotten better.
He's gotten a lot better, especially not just in terms of his offensive production, but the things he does just all around the floor. I mean, when I saw his stat line personally, I was like, it's probably just an inflated stat line. He played on Phoenix, but then
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, but you look into it. I mean, of course, rebounds. He's a big guy. He's six in it, but he's also a guy who's actually tied with Trevor Ariza for steals with 7. And we know Trevor Ariza is one of the best defenders in the league. He's a guy who the really only big knock on him is the fact he still is immature with taking fouls. He did have 3.4 per game last year,
That's not happening in Golden State, though.
I would hope not. It can't, but again, that's just an area that if he matures there, there's nothing really bad about Kelly Oubre last year otherwise that you can say about him.
And he's probably higher on this list because of what his role is going to be in Golden State, right? We're not sure if it's going to be Wiggins or Oubre. By the way, everyone, we had Wiggins in our shooting guard list. You're not seeing him today. Don't expect to see him today. He's not higher than Oubre. That would have been a great conversation, but we don't know which one of those guys is going to come in and be that second star to score those points. We know Curry's going to be that first star, and we know Draymond's not going to score. Maybe it'll be Wiseman, or likely it'll be Oubre or Wiggins. One of them is going to outshine the other this year, which is great news for that Golden State team. They have two guys that are essentially, right now, I put them on a very similar plane. Wiggins maybe a little bit higher because he is a proven 20-point per game scorer, and a former number 1 overall pick. But as of right now, they're on a very similar plane considering the year that Oubre Jr. had last year in Phoenix. They're going to be competing against each other this year for minutes in Golden State for that opportunity to be that second star. And I think it's gonna show. I don't know which one's gonna come out on top. I'm not gonna lie, but it's gonna have some great competition between the two, and they're probably both gonna play the best basketball of their career.
Yeah, I mean, just speaking of Oubre too, a guy who, whenever Phoenix needed him, like whenever Kelly Oubre stepped up, the team did so much better. In Phoenix, in wins, Kelly Oubre had 21 points per game. In losses, he had 17. His 3-point percentage was 40% in those wins. It was 31 in those losses. So when Kelly Oubre was on, it seemed like Phoenix was on last year. Obviously, they have Devin Booker, obviously Ayton, but Ayton played, I believe, I want to say not many more than 30 games, maybe even 25-ish. So it's not a guy who had a lot of contribution in terms of win-losses versus Kelly Oubre had a big factor night in and night out. If we look at his win-losses, it was, yes, one of the worst among small forwards. But again, the fact that he had a 4-point more production in those wins, again, just reiterates that when Kelly Oubre was doing good, that team was doing good. So he was the number 2 there last year, I would even argue. So to see how he's going to do in Golden State, like you said, whether he's the 2 or the 3, I hope they take it as a competition, as like a friendly competition. They go after one another because they could both be 20-point per game per guys, and Golden State could, but that's what they need.
It's a great opportunity for him for sure. It's something that really surprised us though, right? He got there. If it wasn't for the Klay Thompson injury, but he's got to take this opportunity and run with it. He's never been in the limelight like he'll be next year.
Absolutely.
Everyone watches Golden State. Everyone's gonna watch Curry come back. they're going to win a lot of games because of just Steph Curry alone. But if they're able to win an even bigger amount of games, he's going to fix that reputation that we're talking about of him not being considered a top player, because he should be. And next year he'll really be able to showcase that.
Yeah, and that tops off our segment before our top 10. So from here, we have the top 10.